Okay, let's continue with our practice test. This is part 3. We're going to look at the second function sheet, Fun 2. And here we're supposed to, this is cell E19, we're supposed to put the sum of all of the sales data right here. Okay? And actually I'm going to make my life a little bit easier here. I'm going to give that a name. Just going to call it sales. And then what I can do here is I can do let's go to the Home tab, and I can do a sum function, and I can just type in sales. And if I double click on this now, I do get the blue line around these numbers here. And just to double check to make sure it's doing the right thing, if I drag the mouse over all this stuff and look down here at my sum, it's 25,145, which is what I'm getting, so I must be doing it right. Smallest is going to be the min function, and I want to find the minimum of sales. And if you look through here, it looks like there's only a handful of 2-digit numbers, and the smallest one is 21. The largest is going to be max of sales, so just type sales on top of that. And they're all 3-digit numbers, no more than 3-digit numbers, and that's obviously the biggest 3-digit number there is, so that's correct. And then I'm going to do the average, go to AutoSum and do average, and type in sales, and the average of those is 524. And if I drag my mouse over these and look down here, it does tell me the average is 524. Okay, now in column H, we got to put some formulas in the yellow cells. We want the value true to appear if a salesman reached the quota of 600 or more for any one of the 3 months. Any means we're going to use the OR function. So go to formulas here, logical, OR, and I've got 3 things here. Either D2 was greater than or equal to 600, or E2 was greater than or equal to 600, or F2 was greater than or equal to 600. Click on OK, and it looks like, yeah, he met it here. So let's drag this all the way down. And it looks like almost everybody did it at least once. Tyler didn't do very well. He didn't make it any, and neither did Pierce. So otherwise, it looks like everybody else, had at least 1 month where they were 600 or more. Okay, now the other part is, I want to know if they met their quota all 3 months. Okay, that's going to be an AND. So let's go back to our logical here again. Choose AND. And it's going to actually be the same logical test. The first one is D2 greater than or equal to 600, tab E2 greater than or equal to 600, tab F2 greater than or equal to 600. And click on OK, and you had to have all 3 of them over 600, and it turns out I think there's only one in here that actually meets that, and it was this guy right here. All 3 of those are over 600. Nobody else had all 3 of them over 600. So ORs in column H, ANDs in column I. Now let's go to database 1, and we want to sort the data in decreasing order, that'd be biggest numbers at the top, by number of shares owned. So I need to go to the shares column, go to this, all going to be in the data tab, all the database stuff. I want it in decreasing order, largest to smallest, based on number of shares owned. And I didn't read the whole question. The rest of it is stocks with the same number of shares should be in alphabetical order by stock name. So that means I have to do this sort. And first thing I want to do is sort by shares, largest to smallest. Then I want to add a level, and I want to go by the stock name, and I want them in alphabetical order A to Z. Click on OK, and there we go. Now if you look at the 2000s, it's ACMU. If you look at the 1500, it's A and N. If you look at the 1000s, it's AC, ACI, MICROP, MICROS, P, T, and Z. Okay, so let's leave that page. Go to DB2, and I want to filter that displays only those stocks that have a profit. Here's my profit column right here of 5,000 or more. So just put the cursor someplace in the data before you turn on filtering. And it says use a rule, not the check boxes, so that means I've got to go here, and I want 5,000 or more. So that's going to be greater than or equal to 5,000. Click on OK. And there we go. If you check them out, every one of those has a profit or loss of 5,000 or more. Okay. Another filter. Create a filter. Just put the cursor in the data someplace, turn filtering on. And I want the category S or P. So let's go here, and I want S or P, P or S. Click on OK, and that's what I get is the P's and the S's. Use a pivot table to determine the total value of each stock category. So I want the total for S's, total for C's, total for H's, and total for P's. There's 4 values over here in the category column. And the total current value column, that would be this column right here. So let's tell Excel we want to insert a pivot table, and since I started with the cursor in the data, that's OK, and put on new worksheet, click OK. And I want the category, and then I want the total current value of each category, and here's my table. Let's clean that up a little bit, put a $sign in there, and makes it a little bit easier to read. Okay, that was DB4. That was pivot table. It's DB5 is advanced filtering. I want stocks in the S category or the H category. That means it's going to require 2 lines, one with S and one with H. So I'm saying or. Either the value S is there or the value H is there. And I want total current value right here greater than or equal to 10,000. And I need that for both of them. Okay, so that's my advanced filter. And then in column J, I want a formula to determine how many stocks, not the number of shares, just a count of the number of companies, are in the S or H category with a total of 10,000 or more. So basically I want to use this criteria up here, and I want to do a count. So that's going to be a decount command. Let's go to our formulas tab. And we want, whoops, it's not there. We want category database, and I want a D count. Okay. Now remember, count only counts fields that have numbers. It does not count fields that have text. Now my database is going to be this area over here all the way down. And can I name that while I've got the dialog box up? No, I can't. So let's try it again. Okay, database is going to be this. What field do I want to count? Well, I want to count a numeric field, so it doesn't really matter as long as I don't pick column 1 or column 2. So I'll just pick column 3. And so it's going to count the fields that have a number in column 3. And the criteria is going to be this stuff up here. I don't really need to include name because there's nothing below that. And it tells me there are 12 that match. Click on OK. And I've entered too few arguments for the function. Let's go take a look. Oh, you know what? I got messed up when I think when I moved the cursor here. I got some extra stuff in here. This can happen easily if you start doing too much clicking. Let's try that. If I double click on it, green is around here, column 3, and blue is around my data, so that's what I wanted. Okay, that's something you need to be careful of too. Okay, number of shares is going to be a sum. Okay, so I want the sum of the H and S shares where the total current value is over 10,000. I want how many shares I have. So that's going to be dsum. And the database again is going to be the same thing over here. And the field that I want to sum, this time it does matter. And what I want is number of shares. So that's going to be column 3. And the criteria again is going to be the S or H ones that are greater than or equal to 10,000. Click on OK. And then the highest value, I want the total current value column, and I want the one that's worth the most out of those that are over $10,000 in S or H. So it's going to be a dmax function right here. And the database is going to be this data over here. And don't forget to include the headings when you do this stuff. Oops, I went a little too far. see if I can. No, I can't. Let's go back and reselect that, although it really doesn't matter since I've got a blank field down there. And what I want is I want the maximum in the total current value column, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And the criteria again is this stuff up here. Click on OK. And it looks like the highest value is 66,187. And I can probably check that here just by doing a little sort. Let's go to my data tab and filter. And then we'll do a descending sort on this column. And P was not part of our criteria, so H and S were, though. So the highest one with an H or an S is 66,188. You know, it's actually 66,187.5, but we're displaying them as whole numbers here, so it rounds up to 188. Okay, we also need a chart. And this video's getting to be kind of long, so I think what we'll do is we will stop here and do a third video for the rest of the practice test.